Okay. Oh, wow. All right, we are in Soudan, Minnesota. And we are at Lake Vermilion-Soudan Underground Mine State Park, which is probably the longest name for a state park in Minnesota. So historically, this used to be two different state parks. Soudan Mine State Park, which is down here, and Lake Vermilion State Park, which is up here where we're at. But then one day they became one. I think there was some land in the middle that was given up, or something happened, and they were allowed to merge both into one. So we're at the Vermilion Ridge campground here at site 204E Electric, right here. We're gonna pop out of this site over here, and we're gonna hop on this Vermilion Ridge trail right here, and then we're gonna take it around here, take out the lakeside, go up and around here, check out these boardwalks and the Onamani Overlook Trail. Onamani Overlook, Scramblers Pass area in Cable Bay, and then we'll head back. This is going to be my last official summer or July hike. Last official July hike at a state park for 2025. I'm going to be camping here tonight as well, and this will be my last camp trip for July of 2025. This will be my fourth one of the month. I did get some firewood, and I got a fire pass, so I'm going to post the confirmation up here later when I'm finished with the hike and I begin my camp. So we're pretty far north in Minnesota, central north Minnesota. And I did a scout of this campground in February of this year, 2025. And there was about a foot deep snow. So I showed every site. It was really difficult to navigate through the snow, but I still got shots of every site, even the backpack sites. This campground is pretty popular, but the backpack sites, they don't seem to be very popular. I don't see them being reserved as much. So if I ever make it back here one day, I'm probably going to do a hike in the Soudan Mine State Park area and do a backpack camp at one of the backpack sites. Maybe site 3 possibly. Oh, there was a garter snake right there. There's a really small, thin one. I think that's the first one I've seen of the year. It is in the low 80s, low to mid 80s. Not really too humid. And as always, I'm not wearing any bug spray or permethrin. And this state park also has some really nice camper cabins, but you almost need a bachelorate degree to be able to pronounce the names of them. So it looks like we're real close to some a campsite right here. Probably the 100 loop. On the way here, I took a stop at the Paul Wellstone Paul Wellstone Memorial, so check that out if you're interested. And this hike will entail some backtracking. This actually looks like a moly mushroom. Mushrooms, bracket fungi, puffballs, and allies. That's the class. The genus is Amanita mushrooms. There we go. The yellow American blusher. Little hole there. You know, there was a lot of pollution in the metro area. Pollution when I left today. It's that same sulfurish electrical fire smell, misty pollution. And again, ironically, it's on a Friday, but usually they blame those on Canadian wildfires. And ironically, I'm about almost 300 miles closer to Canada than I was when I left. I'm not really experiencing that pollution or that mysterious mist up here. And I am substantially about almost half a state closer to Canada than I was. Oh yeah, just saying. We're approaching the point here where we're gonna head over to the lakeside trail. We're gonna head down that, check it out, and then backtrack towards this intersection here. We're gonna be approaching here pretty soon. Looks like it's kind of switchbacky. Alright, so here I'm definitely not sure, and this map does not make it clear, but we're going to stay focused on this direction. Yeah, we essentially want to head west towards the sun, towards where the sun is setting. And we should start to see Lake Vermilion, or a bay of Lake Vermilion on our right side pretty soon. Here's a switchback. Here we go. Well, something fleeing, but I'm not quite sure what it was. I suspect it was some kind of bird. Cool looking leaf. I just heard a red squirrel make it one of its crazy sounds back there, so it was probably one of those red squirrels making that sound like a rattlesnake tail. The red squirrels are probably the cutest out of all the different squirrels, but they are the craziest. They are mad insane. And I heard a rumor that they're the hardest to tame as well. You encounter those red squirrels more in the northern part of the state. Although in the metro area a couple months ago on my way home from work, I could not believe it, but I saw a younger one in the city. So it's almost like it hitched a ride from someone that was traveling north and went back home. I have never seen that before. I've seen mostly the eastern gray squirrel. I've seen the albino squirrels. I've seen black squirrels. And I've even seen what I call bear squirrels, where they're basically brown and black. Those are probably my favorite ones, the little bear. I call them bear squirrels. See, those are the ones I've seen in the city. Right out where I live, right out my window. Yeah, so this gets a little weird here. So the map is pretty accurate. The map is kind of convoluted in the trail here, and it's pretty accurate. This is pretty convoluted. Cell phone reception here is very good. Even if it wasn't the GPS coordinate on this Avenza Maps app, it usually still continues to work fairly well. Alright, so when we backtrack, when we're finished with this trail, we're probably going to come right back this way and then go that route there to head around Cable Bay here. I'm starting to see Lake Vermilion, or it's probably, that's Cable Bay. Still Lake Vermilion. Lake Vermilion is similar to Lake Minnetonka in the way where it's kind of all over the place, but it's still connected as one. Got little islands throughout it. Pretty muddy here, gotta be careful. Looks like bike trails, tracks. So I'm gonna try to get back to camp no later than 6 p.m. so we got plenty of time. I'm gonna try to get a fire going and put out before 9 p.m. and hunker down in my tent. There's a blue jay down there. I took off. I was gonna try to get a better view. So I need to hunker down tonight. I need to fall asleep before 10 if I can, because I need to get up really early. Well, I need to wake up by about 7:30. And I need to break camp by about 8:30. I have an ambitious scout tomorrow of 3 state forest campgrounds in Cipher-Tu Gamma State Forest. Oh wow, that was just a leaf. That was a baby bird or something. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna scout the campground at Wake 'em Up Bay Campground, Ash River Campground, and Wooden Frog Campground, all 3 in the Cipher-Tu Gamma State Forest, right at the top central part of the state, which is the furthest I've been, in the middle top of the state. And there's probably going to be a fair amount of people there, I would guess, so I'm not going to be able to do what I love to do, which is get inside of each site and turn around and show you what it looks like from within and looking out at different angles, but I'm still going to get pretty good footage of the whole place, give everyone a really good idea, help them make an informed decision. And like I've been saying, my footage is a little shaky, but you literally get hundreds of pictures of pretty much every single site with various angles. And especially with the state forests in particular, you almost don't even get the one picture you get with the state park campsites. On the DNR page, when you're reserving, you get one picture. Everybody complains about that, and I know that they don't have the resources to do something like I'm doing. And I started doing this for myself, really, so I can make my own informed decisions. But it was too much information to not share. And plus I got a way of saving it online, so I don't have to worry about losing hard drives or anything. I can always access it online, so long as I don't get banned or something like that. All right, yep, we are on the lakeside trail. That's perfect. I'll fix the chest rig a little. All right, there we go. I'll make sure the screen isn't smeared. Genus black-eyed Susans and coneflowers. There we go. The mosquitoes are attacking me now. Getting some latency there. There we go. Nice. I've been getting attacked by a lot of little mosquitoes here. Oh, that'll do it. That'll create them. Little switchback again. Okay. Alright, so we're almost at the tip of this lakeside trail. And so far we haven't really been by the side of the lake that we could see anyways. but it might deliver at the very end here. Yeah, it sure does. Lake Vermilion. Cable Bay. And we're gonna make our way down there. Probably can't see. There's Scrambler's Pass. There's a loop over there. That'll be our final part of the hike before we head back the way we came when we head out there. Yeah, there's a lot of islands. Lake Vermilion. I heard some stories that there's some islands have cabins on them and stuff. This would be a good backpack site, kind of. I'm not sure. Oh, this takes you up to like a little dead end. Take a look at that real quick. It might be an entrance from the group camp here to this trail right here. So it's getting switchbacky again. It looked like the group camps were pretty well packed. There's several of them throughout. They're not all near each other. I mean, there's a couple that are close to each other, but all of them are not in one spot or one area. They are spread out a little. Oh, kiss the road here. Takes you down to like the boat launch area. This takes you down to the Vermilion Ridge campground. And if you keep going straight and take a left, it takes you to the camper cabins. But if you go straight and take a right, you'll head towards the park entrance. But about a mile or two before you get there, on your right side, there'll be the backpack site parking. I kind of want to stay at one of those one day. I do got a scout of that. You should check it out. I really had to earn that one. The snow is pretty deep. I forgot well, I didn't bring my mucklucks, which would have been the perfect time for them. The snow was pretty thick. Yeah, the snow was like probably 2 to 3 feet deep in some spots. Maybe 2. I might be exaggerating with 3 feet, but definitely 1 foot for a lot of it. Wow, I think it's a grouse or a turkey, maybe a younger turkey. I heard a rumor that turkeys eat ticks. So whenever I see them walking around just doing that, looking all crazy, I'm always kind of proud of them because they're out there providing a service. So I do not know how they're able to find them. You figure they just walk through grass and then just look at themselves and then pick off themselves. I don't know if ticks don't stick to turkeys for that reason, or I don't know what. So as we're backtracking here, I'll just kind of let you know, I've been working to try to iteratively improve the footage I got. So one problem was the microphone on the body cam. So I came up with my own pop filter that I've put in front of it with essentially Velcro and foam. And I've got it to a point where it doesn't get in the way of the camera, and it seems to really bat down the wind. And it helps with the wind for sure, but the peaking of my voice still, I'm struggling with that, so I do the volumes meticulously in editing. Still, I'm struggling with that, so I do the volumes meticulously in editing. And it's mainly as a courtesy to myself, so that when I watch them in the future as a reference, I don't get annoyed. My OCD doesn't get triggered, my sensitive hearing. And another issue I've been noticing is a clanging sound. And I think I finally figured it out. I thought it was a carabiner on my body cam. But I got rid of, I fixed that, and then I still heard it. And then when I was breaking camp at Minneapolis State Park, I heard it. And I looked down and I noticed that it was my tracker beads clanging against my pepper spray on the right side of my body. So now I'm hunkering in the tracker beads in my back pocket to prevent that from occurring. And this is actually the hike where I'm going to test that out to see if I still hear it. But oftentimes, once I solve one problem, another one emerges. But sometimes, once I've solved all of them, the litany of problems, they just stop happening, as though they get tired, as though I've weakened them. Oh yeah, just a FYI on that. And I'm trying to learn to talk slower and at more steady volumes, less eccentric volume shifts in my voice. But I really like the body cam. The battery life works really good. I love the GPS on it and the timestamp. So I'm definitely going to stick with that as a standard, even though there probably are other higher quality cameras. I don't really care. This is just information and reference. Mild entertainment. See that wind that just came through, for example. Normally that would have triggered the mic and created distortion. But I bet you didn't hear anything because of the pop filter I have on there. And when I walk by people, I probably won't be talking because it's weird and awkward, just so you know. So far this hike hasn't really been difficult. It hasn't been too buggy, so long as I keep moving. I really like it here. I'm getting a good vibe here. And when we were looking at the lake a moment ago, I did notice that mist, that pollution mist that I was talking about earlier. But it's nowhere near as profound as it was in the St. Paul area and around the surrounding suburbs of St. Paul, which is weird because if it's coming from Canadian wildfires, I don't think it would smell like sulfur or electric-y. And also I think it would be more prominent towards the top of the state than the lower eastern, middle eastern part of the state. And it always seems to be on Fridays too. But the more I'm aware of it, the more I'm going to kind of be taking note of it. I did mention before, they seem to put the mist or the pollution in the air. They, whoever they are, I don't know. But it just seems too contrived to be a natural, organic thing. I mentioned that it happened during a golden sun, or when the sun appears more golden, and that does not appear to be the case today anyways. But another theory that I have is maybe it's something I learned about, which is solar radiation modification. So it's a way to mitigate the rays of the sun, something like that. But you got the air quality alerts on the highway, reduce trips, consider reducing trips. You got the air quality on the weather apps. There's a heat advisory now too, but there's an air quality. And in my opinion, those are just ways to kind of mitigate karma. Oh, we told you about it. We told you to protect yourselves. But I heard a rumor that karma might not even exist. But it seems to me like there is some kind of karmic law at play in this reality. But it might be self-induced. It might be self-created via the conscience. So a sociopath, for example, could literally get away with murder and nothing will happen. And a sociopath is essentially someone who can't feel empathy or other people's emotions, can't put themselves in other people's shoes, nor do they care to. Alright, so we're pretty much back at that intersection here, or I call it that, an intersection. So more of a litany of switchbacks, a convolution of switchbacks. And I know these names are kind of just trying to be respectful, and they probably have some kind of Native American origin, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, can we get a little more serious here? I mean, we're supposed to pronounce that? I mean, come on. I'm sure once you know how to say it, though, it kind of just flows. Probably sounds really nice. But you have people referencing these names. It's like talking to their friends or talking to the people, the staff that work at the park. I wonder how many times they just got to spell the first 4 letters. And like in this language here, it's not like you can't even call like a government line like to any kind of service and press 1 for this language, press 2 for this language. Like, you can't even pick this as a language. And there's so many languages you can pick. I mean, in Minnesota for sure. I think there's like 9 or 13 languages you can pick in LA. Alright, this looks familiar. Yeah, so I think we came in here and we went this way. Take note of the trees. So when we come back, when we're all said and done, we head back this way. This is what we're going to be looking for right here. And the time of day will be a little different. The sun will be about over there. We're going along the eastern part of the bay, Cable Bay. Well, maybe we can just meander this way after the boardwalk here. We'll just go up this way instead of on the lower. Take the high road instead of the low road. I'm willing to gamble this connects with the spot we saw. It's not that far of a distance anyways. So this looks like a boardwalk or a bog walk. I don't think I've really done one of these yet. Maybe really short ones, but I can't recall where. Alright, let's do it. Lake Vermilion-Soudan Underground Mine Boardwalk. There it is. Lake Vermilion. There's some baby ducks over there. That's genus alders. Oh, we got it. Gray alder. You know, the more I do this, the more I'm kind of noticing things that I haven't really tried to identify yet as I go hiking. So this is a really good way to learn for me anyways. And then when I edit the video and put in the footage, splice it together per se, it helps reinforce the memory in my mind. It's not quite a boardwalk, it's more of like a handicap person ramp, or those handicap ramps that you'll see in front of homes, but it's still really nice. Alright, so that was kind of a short one, but it was a good one. I'm still looking forward to checking out the boardwalk at Big Bog State Recreation Area by Red Lake. So this will loop around like this. It looks like there's a cabin up here too. I think it's Tetagooch State Park has like a really nice cabin that costs like $300 or something. I think that's the state park. They have other regular cabins as well, but there's a real bourgeois plush one. I might have to try to scout that one day from the outside. I'm not gonna pay for it to check it out on the inside. Unless I get a grant from my sponsor, which I won't because I don't have one, which is really good. Because if I did have one, it'd be really cliche and lame. And no, that's not jealousy. Now, this is the closest I've been to Lake Vermilion. It's possible I did go to it as a child because I did, with my family, I went on like a pontoon on a boat, or a boat is a pontoon, and on a lake somewhere north. And I don't know if it's Lake of the Woods or Rainy Lake, but I know it was I remember hearing them talking about Canada's right over the other side of the water. So I don't think it was Lake Vermilion. It was probably Rainy Lake or Lake of the Woods. They cross out the hiker. All right. All right, so we did the lakeside trail. We'll be heading back here to go back to where we started, of course. Camper cabin though, huh? You know what? Let's continue on and we'll see how we feel because we're headed back this way anyways. We might take a look. It's probably reserved though and occupied, but we can still see how close we can get without being creepy and weird and disrespectful. It's getting a little muddy here. You got to be careful in the mud. You always got to respect the mud. There is some mud that is so slippery, you wouldn't believe it. Slipperier than ice. And some mud is also very deep. So when you lift your foot up, it'll keep your boot. Unless you're wearing sandals or Crocs, God forbid, if you're one of those people. I know a lot of people in the military wear Crocs, so thank you for your service. I respect you, but I will never respect the fact that you're wearing Crocs. I don't care the efficacy of them. I do not care. I don't care how practical they are. They should not exist.
She's on her side.
And I heard that there was Croc boots called Crooks or something. Croots. That's definitely taking it too far. So it looks like we got another boardwalk coming up here. I'm just gonna call it a boardwalk. Maybe a bog walk. No, they call it boardwalk. Sometimes I get little flashes of previous moments I've had at other state parks, and right here I just kind of had a flash of when I was scouting Whitewater State Park, even though it really doesn't look that similar, and it was a different time of day. That's interesting. More mud. This mud isn't too crazy though so far. Wow, that is cool. Wow, that is cool. That's a cool looking shot. Alright, so this hike is going quicker than I thought. So I'm just gonna slow down the pace a little. And we probably will have time to check out that camper cabin on the way back. This is Armstrong Bay. You know, I already did a drive by these camper cabins actually. It connects to them from back here. Huh. Yeah, those look booked. This is the day use area right here. Okay. And these are water trails, they call them. Oh, there's a Raspberry Island. Wow, there's one in St. Paul. Right on the Mississippi, I believe. I can't recall what bridge it's under. Maybe the Robert Street Bridge. I don't think it is that one, but it might be. Ah, it's another name for it. Yeah, but there's a Raspberry Island right in St. Paul, right by downtown. I think there's some nice little condos there. You know what, come to think of it, when I listened to the police radio before it was all encrypted, back in I believe 2021, there was a call there to Raspberry Island with reports of some guy using a flamethrower. That just came back to me. That was crazy. I don't have any recordings of that though. Sorry. Wow. Some good birch. You should never take birch though unless you desperately, truly need it. Even if you don't need it and you're just gonna save it for later, I still say shame on you for that. Unless you're in like a survival situation. So we're on another boardwalk here. I'm gonna try to live in the moment instead of rambling. Okay, there's one here and another one coming up. I really like these boardwalks. And I can't make it back to camp too quick because there's no shade for this time of day. It looks a lot like this, where the sun is peering in. It won't be out, it won't be behind tree lines from my campsite for about another 2 hours. It'll be down lower. so I'd be in direct sunlight, and I don't have a tarp over me or anything to shade it out. And if I were to just hide in my tent, it would just get really hot. So it's not a good idea for me to get back to camp until almost 6 p.m. Oh, wow. Blue bead lily. You know, I thought that was going to end up being blueberries. Yeah. There's some red ones too. Canadian bunchberry. Oh. That's what that's all about. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. I get to touch the waters of Lake Vermilion. And right there I just kind of felt like I was leaving the causeway and entering Loon Island at Lake Chetek State Park. Loon Island would go this way or this way. Now look how these trees grew around this rock. Scrambler's Pass. So let's see what we want to do here. It looks like it connects if we go around, so we'll stay to the right, go around the Onamani Overlook Trail. That airplane is one of those ones that can land on water. thinking this might be a path, so I'm gonna risk it and see what happens. If it gets too crazy, I'll just turn around. It looks like I'm on a path still. Yep, this is a path. Wow. Wow, that's cool. I just cleansed myself in the waters of Lake Vermilion. Now, this is really cool and unique. I really like this. Now we're going to head along the Scramblers Pass portion. So this area is my favorite part of the hike so far. That little boardwalk bridge we just walked over is pretty cool. It's kind of hidden too. So ever since we went down that rock from that overlook, this is definitely a more challenging type of trail. When we started off, that's about as easy as trails get. They get a little easier than that, but on a scale of 1 to 10, that'd probably be the first trail we started off on with the switchbacks is probably a level 2. Level 1 being the super easiest, just a straight sidewalk in a city. And this trail here, I'd give it maybe a 4 or 5. Almost like a shale rock. It might actually literally be shale rock, but I'm just not sure. I'm glad I chose to go the route this way first instead of from there to here. This one's got that cliche of mushroom look to it, the red and the white. Genus Brittlegills. Doesn't quite identify it though as a species. Looks like a grasshopper maybe. Short-horned grasshopper. He skirted away. You know, it's kind of a thin line between a grasshopper and a cockroach, but cockroaches are definitely more disgusting than grasshoppers for some reason. Got some kind of beetle here. He burrowed. So I did hydrate pretty good, and I had some nuts and a smoothie, a protein smoothie, very small one, before I headed out here. But I'm getting to the point here where I kind of probably need some hydration, and I didn't bring any water. So I'm just taking it real easy. And my tank is almost, it's pretty wet, but it's not soaked from sweat. But we've been staying out of the sun for the most part. But yeah, I need to be real cautious with sweating too much and overexerting myself. And whenever I bend over and look at stuff, or when I was fiddling with those rocks, I'm exerting myself, though it doesn't seem like much. And if I push it too far, I'll start to get a headache, and I'll start to get dehydrated, and it'll all start adding up. So I just got to breathe properly, just take it easy. But I'd say we'll probably be back in about 45 minutes maybe, because I plan on stretching it out a little, just going slow. Oh shit. Like there was a bee's nest under that branch, because I heard it start buzzing, and it looked nesty under it. That wouldn't be good. I do have allergy medication back at camp, But even if I did have it on me, it'd only help so much, and it would make me very drowsy. So it's getting more humid in this area. I can really feel the humidity building up. I can get some more nature smells, thick nature smells in here. I don't know what they are, how to describe them. It's probably just a combination of plants and flowers and trees. It's a little muddy here. And you never know, one of these roots might actually be a snake. Usually we have garter snakes, but it is possible that I would encounter other kinds of snakes. I don't think any of them are poisonous in this part of the world. But you still have the psychological factor, the fear, the repulsion, the anxiety, depending on the scenario and how you encountered them and how they react to you. That would probably lead to more sweat, more exertion, but it would probably also release some adrenaline, which would help for a short period of time, but then you'd pay for it later. Adrenaline is kind of like using money in your savings account. You got it, you use it, you're happy, and then it's gone. And then you're SOL, and you're weaker than you were before. Oh wow, here we are. Yep. So I'm definitely glad I decided to go this route first and come around. Definitely. I mean, just based on my personal preferences and my experience hiking so far, felt like a good route to go this way. It probably would have been more effort going this way, given how much you'd have to go up, how steep of an incline you'd have to go up. Where going this way, it's more of you're ramping your way up, kind of. So if you're at this point in the park and you're given this decision, I would advise you head north and not west. But either way, it doesn't matter. It might be harder to find your way up that area though by the outlook, because that path was not super clearly defined and there was a lot of rocks. But coming down, it was a little easier to kind of see the open areas. So yeah, this sign might entice you to go this way instead of that way, but I would recommend this way first, and then ensure that you find your way around, because that's super cool over there. Alright, so we're just going to be backtracking now all the way back. We probably will take a look at that trail that leads up to the camper cabins. I'm just kind of interested to see how it connects, but I'm pretty sure all of them are reserved and there's probably people there. We'll just see how far we can get. I'm gonna regret it if I don't take a picture of this area. It's where I first touched the waters of Lake Vermilion. Sounds like a grouse over there potentially. Oh, there's a little red squirrel up there. Well, it says do not cut around that tree. Wow, interesting. Yeah, that squirrel looked like a little guy. Those red squirrels are probably the cutest. I increased the resolution on my phone for video, and I think maybe pictures too, but video from like 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, I believe. And I do have a 4K option, but I'm not going to use that because I'm kind of protesting 4K because so many people use it. It's just kind of getting annoying to hear about it. So we'll see how nice that comes out compared to before. Should be twice as good. All the videos on the phone from during this hike specifically. There's a deer fly harassing me. He's on my glasses. They're flying around my head. A striped deer fly. Armstrong Bay, Lake Vermilion, Soudan, Minnesota.
Come here, boy. Watch. Watch. Come. Stop. Sorry. Come here. Good boy.
That's it. Yeah, so we're just switching back now. We're approaching that intersection where we can take a left and go and check out the camper cabins. And there's some pretty plush camper cabins too. I don't think we'll be able to get close enough to get right in there and look at them because they're all reserved. But we'll see how far close to them the trail takes us. Alright, so this is the trail that heads up to the cabins. Oh yeah, they're right here. These are some of the nicest, most modern looking cabins, at least from the outside, that I've seen out of maybe 50 state parks that I've been to in Minnesota. Oh, we're over here. They're fixing up this cabin over here earlier today. They're park rangers. I don't think anybody's here. So we might be able to check it out then. Yeah, so when I arrived here, when I arrived here earlier today, this was, the park rangers were here working on this. Wow. Yeah, these are really nice. Wow. Oh, it's a little more basic on the inside than I was thinking. For some reason, I thought they were going to have like a second level. There's a fan, a ceiling fan in there. Wow, it looks like a leather couch. That's pretty plush. Leather couch. Really nice dock here. Wow. Yeah, these are the nicest cabins I've ever seen. Well, camper cabins at a state park specifically. So Ningaabi'anong west and Zawanong south. They probably just call them west and south. That's real cute, whoever decided to name them like that. That's real cute. I guaranteed you're a nimbist. Okay, so Zawanong. Zawanong is south. So this is the south, Zawanong south. I guess now that I've said it, it's not too hard to say. Zawanong. Zawanong. I probably said it wrong though. So the next one here. That's nice. Ningaabi'anong. Ningaabi'anong west. Ningaabi'anong. There's a few more over there. I actually thought this trail that we came out of, we were going to pop out over there on the other side. That's what I was thinking in my head. Oh, the fire pit's down here for this one. And you're right by the trail. Yeah. No pets allowed inside, so looks like 90% of all women won't be allowed to go in there. They gotta have their dog. Alright. Sorry if you don't like that, but it's true. Okay. Yeah, so there's like, I think 4 more cabins down that way. I'm sure they're all the same format. Very nice. I know one of my sisters, she likes to do the camper cabins because she's got kids. So it just makes more sense because it's just too crazy with young kids to get the tent and everything. It's just too crazy. So I've been recommending these ones to her. She doesn't have a dog, ironically. But she used to. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start heading back now. All right, so I wanted to get back by 6. We're gonna be a little early. That's okay. We're getting some cloud cover. That might help with the sun. And I'm not doing a camp video for this particular camp because it's just not practical. It's not a good setting for it. But next week I'm going to, well, next week from the date of this timestamp of the body cam, I'm going to Lake Maria State Park. I'm gonna do backpack site number 5. All right, here we are. Here's our neighborhood. B5. Okay. And that's gonna be a hike in. I'm gonna ruck in there with my gear, stash my gear, go back to my vehicle, ruck in the firewood. And a guy called MN Hiker, you should check out his channel. He did a scout of Lake Maria sites, and based on his footage, backpack site 5 looks pretty awesome. And I think we're actually on a different trail for heading back. Nope, I remember this loop around here. Okay. So that one's going to be another kind of in-depth camp. Well, this one I'll actually be rucking in. And I'll kind of explain what I'm doing. I probably won't cover as many things as I did in previous camps, just for the sake of repetition, saving repetition, but probably enhance a few things, get some different aspects of a few things. Specifically, I kind of want to document how I ruck in my gear, stash it, and then hike back to my vehicle and then ruck in the wood that I brought. I do got some videos of that, but it'd be nice to have one that's a little better quality after all my experience and improvements. So I understand a little bit more what to do, what to say, how to do it, and how to fit that into editing. I'm still trying to shake the annoyance and the irritation I got from that lady and her dog. Stuff like that really rattles me. It's just the audacity of some people. Like, you're supposed to have a dog on a leash the whole time in these places, and so many people never do it. then they expect you to behave yourself so their dog doesn't attack you. But I digress. Little catharsis. So this is another one of my favorite spots of the hike. And you can see the mist. Probably not too well with the body cam, but there's the mist out there. That's the I don't really smell anything though. But that's allegedly air quality or pollution. Which we'll probably blame on wildfires in Canada, which have been going on for over a decade. I think Canada would just be a bald spot at this point. Now, at least the dog, it didn't growl at me and bark at me. That actually happened to me the last time I camped at Lake Maria, ironically. I just kind of wish that would stop happening. It's just so tiring. I don't recall seeing this when we were here last time, but I probably just didn't see it. So last time I said we're going to take the high road when we got here. So we shall. Okay. All right, I remember this way. It can be risky just saying, oh, I remember and doing that, but I'm very confident this time. And I'm willing to roll the dice in being right, because if I'm wrong, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I got a map, I got signal, I'm close to pretty much everything around here. Yeah, so if I'm able to come back to Sudan in the future, maybe 2026 maybe, I plan on taking a hike at the Sudan underground mine portion of the state park, and then camping in the backpack camp area in the Lake Vermilion part of the state park. There is no campground in the underground mine portion of the state park. They do got a picnic area there though. Which is not too big compared to a lot of picnic areas you would encounter in a lot of state parks. It's very small, and it's surrounded in woodland. But you can do tours of the underground mine. I heard a rumor though that lately, I think it was due to flooding, they had to shut it down temporarily until further future notice. And I think even some of the trails over there had to be shut down until further notice. And I'm kind of reaching in memory here though, but I thought I heard that there was actually a horrible accident a long time ago, like early 1900s or something like that, like 100 years ago or something, where there was a flood in the mine and people in the mine died. Oh, that might not have been this mine though, that might have been another one. This portion of Minnesota is referred to the Iron Range. It's kind of the northeastern, central northeastern portion, kind of from Duluth up north, kind of from Duluth slightly northwest. That area, that line is kind of like the Iron Range. Where they did a lot of mining, and I think they actually reopened they closed the state park so they could resume mining. There's another mine state park. I can't recall the name specifically, but it's slightly south of here, by about maybe 50, 80 miles south of here. And they actually shut that one down, that state park, so they could resume mining. And there was another state park that was shut down, I believe in 2024, called the Upper Sioux Agency State Park. And that was in southwestern Minnesota. And they shut that down, I believe, to give land back to the natives. I believe the Sioux, or the Upper Sioux Agency, or the distant relatives of them. Which is sad, because I was planning to do a camp at the Medicine Lake, or Yellow Medicine campground there in 2024. I couldn't quite get there in 2023. And that just happened to be the last year to camp there. It was 2023. Stinkleberry Farmer did a video where he said the last days at a state park, and he visited there towards the last days when they were closing down. So I recommend you check that out.
Today I'm at the Upper Sioux Agency State Park, and this one will be a little bit different today because I'm not camping. I'm just visiting for a short while.
I was just at Monson Lake State Park, and like a tragedy happened there, and there was a massacre there, like the 1800s or something, a long time ago. But when I kind of read the literature there, I kind of got fearful that that might be another state park on the docket for giving land back. And literally, when I went in the restroom area there, somebody carved into the wood there, "land back," which is of course a statement. So that probably won't happen, but yeah. And I do like that state park a lot. It is a really small state park though. And ironically, it seems every time I go there, I have negative experiences. Not the whole time, but I've been there 3 times now, and all 3 times it has a track record of giving me negative vibes throughout at certain moments. So it may have something to do with like the energy there or something. But I'm probably gonna give that state park I'm gonna take a break from it for a while. I might never return, but we'll see what happens, you know. We'll see. But I did a hike of that recently and a scout of the campground there. That was this same month actually, July 2025. So it'd probably be about 4 videos ago at this point, if I had to guess the future from this point in time. So I'm kind of feeling better now about how annoying and obnoxious that lady and her dog were. I just really felt like she told me to stop, like I was a dog. And I just did it because I didn't want no problems, but I don't know. I don't like that. Being treated like a dog that she should be treating her dog like. It's hard for me to let things go sometimes, obviously. But yeah, if you're like a middle-aged woman between your 40s and your 60s and you have a dog that you love and you notice that it barks at people all the time, maybe let me know what you know, leave a comment, let me know what's going on there. Like, maybe I can develop some empathy or some understanding. There's a backstory behind it. Maybe I can develop some compassion for the lack of compassion that I'm perceiving. So we're getting close to the campground now, the 100 circle loop. We're gonna get really close to one of these sites here. You know, one thing I noticed about living in the future, 2025, is that almost everyone uses the F word nowadays. I remember my grandma used to cringe whenever she'd hear me say it. She's like, every time I hear it, I feel so bad. It just makes me feel horrible. And that was just the early stages of the generations that would come later. But it probably is a filthy word, so But I've quit smoking cigarettes several times in my life. I'm at about, the last cigarette I had was June of 2012, I believe. So I put it down for good at this point, but that was a hard thing to quit. But it seems like the F word is many times stronger than a pack of cigarettes. But we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to put a bow on my mouth, and we're approaching the end of the hike. Hope you learned some things. Hope you're able to relax a little bit. Hopefully I didn't irritate you too much. Hopefully I made you laugh sometimes. See you in the next one, and take care.